This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. The following program is rated PG and may contain language and material that may be slightly offensive to some audiences. With us today on The Havery Show, we have a special, unexpected guest. Our guest this morning happened to stop by the studio today just to chat before he went back north, and we were having a good time talking, and I thought, you know what, why not let's turn this into a podcast? So today's special guest, unexpected, unplanned, Ernest Twigg, Ernest Lee Twigg, lifelong Sebring resident?
30 years.
30 years.
Yes.
Now, we have a lot to cover, but we got to start right here because you just blew me away. You just literally blew me away and said that you're one of 16, technically 18, but one of 16 children.
That's correct, yes.
Tell me about that. Tell me about your mom and dad. How do you have 16 kids?
Well, I don't know. They had 18 of us. My dad was a rubber worker. He made tires in Indiana, Pennsylvania. And my mother, she was a homebody all her life because she was pregnant most of the time.
I guess so. 16. And where are you in the pecking order?
Right now, I'm the third oldest.
Wow. The third oldest. Okay. What about then? Where were you?
I was the fifth.
You were the fifth.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is where?
Indiana, Pennsylvania. Not Indiana State.
Indiana, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
I wonder if there's also a Pennsylvania, Indiana.
And I don't think so. But you probably heard of a guy from there, James Stewart.
Yes.
That's where Jimmy Stewart was from.
So Jimmy Stewart is from there.
Yes. His mother and dad had a hardware store there.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. And how far back did your family go in that town?
I think in the 30s.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So is that town now kind of a shrine to Jimmy Stewart? Is there Jimmy Stewart this?
There's a museum, Jimmy Stewart Museum. Wow. There's also a college there called IUP.
IUP.
Mm-hmm. Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
It makes my head hurt. Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Wow. Now, what got you from Indiana? This is going to mess with me. What got you from Indiana, Pennsylvania to Sebring, Florida?
Once I got out of the Air Force, I moved to Ohio for a while and then got tired of the cold weather, so moved down to Florida.
Gotcha. And why Sebring of all places?
Well, I ended up getting a job with the railroad, so I stayed right here at Sebring.
Yeah, you were a fixture at the Amtrak station for how many years?
20 years.
20 years?
Yes.
Back in the 70s and 80s?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, up to 90.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah.
You saw, back then, now correct me if I'm wrong, but the train station has gone through a lot of changes over the years. And there was a number of years there when it got to be in pretty rough shape. And I think that was probably after your tenure.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was there, we even had an open fireplace.
Oh, no kidding.
We would use it if it got cold and people come in and hang around the fireplace waiting on the train and all.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that place. It was me and my friends used to go down there. David Tavernier and Clark Patterson and Craig and some of those guys. We'd ride our bikes down there, and we'd go in and look around and never cause a ruckus or anything. Then we'd go outside, and when you walk out of the station and go down towards the left, we would go down that way where we weren't quite as visible, and we'd put pennies on the train track and get them squashed.
A lot of people did that.
Oh yeah.
At one time we had a derailment and the railroad police was there, and the guy went out and was putting some coins on the track, and policeman told him, said, "You can be arrested for that." I said, "Come on now."
Did you say railroad police?
Yes.
So the railroad has its own police force.
Yes, they do.
Is that an Amtrak police force or is it?
It was CSX.
CSX.
Yeah, and he was out of West Palm Beach.
Gotcha. Was that the Orange Blossom line? Or was that was probably after the Orange Blossom line, I'll bet.
Yeah, that was the Metro. I forget the name of the train now.
So Terry's Junk Store also used to be a depot.
Yes.
Was that only for freight?
Yes.
Okay, so Terry's Junk Store was never a passenger
No.
place.
No. I think that was the OACL,
Gotcha.
a different line, but it was for the freight trains and stuff.
Here's something that has always, especially more recently, has got me scratching my head. Right now where we sit, we're basically about a block from the courthouse.
Right.
How on earth did they build that courthouse, supposedly in 1926, 1927? Where did those blocks of granite, where'd they come from? How'd they get them here? They must have gone to Terry's because that would have been the freight depot.
Right.
How'd they get those crazy things from there over here? That boggles my mind.
Yeah, I'm not sure, and that's the time of the building of the Amtrak station, too.
That's
it
right.
was 1924, 25.
Yeah,
And that's when Sebring really started booming.
absolutely. Was our train station part of Flagler's route? Was that
No.
part of his whole thing?
No, that Flagler's route was the Florida East Coast.
Okay,
Went right down along the coast.
gotcha. Yeah, when I was a kid, my mom would decide it's time to go to New York. Most of the time we drove, but sometimes we got on the train.
Right.
And, we'd hop on that train and I'd have a little box of toys, usually superheroes, and just sit on the floor and play with my toys and go down to the club car and get Country Time lemonade and Chuckles.
There you go.
And, a couple days later, there we are, and there's Auntie Pat picking us up at Grand Central Station. And it was really good memories. And she would come down, too. She always took the train. And I've got a lot of good memories about that station and about the train in general.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, we had a few derailments while I was working there. One was I was in the station itself, and the train come by and throwing cars around like a wet wash rag.
Right there in town?
Yes.
No kidding.
Yeah. It took them a while to get that. They had to bus people from the freight train being derailed. They had to bus people from the passenger train.
Wow. Have you ever been on the Sugar Express?
No, I
pretty cool.
want to go.
It really is. It's worth it. Me and Dawn went on it last year, maybe year before, and it's a nice experience. You get to see some old Florida that you otherwise would not get to see.
Yeah, we've been talking about it, but never materialized yet.
Yeah, cool antique rail cars.
Yeah, steam engine.
Yeah. You get dragged one way with a steam engine and the other with a vintage diesel.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there's one on each end. So it just goes zip and zip. It goes to child.
Yeah.
To the sugar processing.
Yeah. That's the
Website.
OACL line.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, very, very cool. Another thing we were talking about just right before I hit record is it was Fat Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so refresh my memory here. It started off as Fat Boys.
Yes.
Wasn't there something in between Fat Boys and Sonny's?
As far as I know, there wasn't. But, yeah, I used to go there quite often for breakfast.
They had enormous pancakes.
And good sausage gravy and biscuits.
Yes, they did. Biscuits.
Yeah.
They had great stuff there. I don't know what's going on with Sonny's. I see that it's maybe either pending or sold. I'm not sure.
I read where it was sold.
It's good because, we need, we have Zach's Pizza and Barbecue down south of town. And Zach's Pizza is great. I never get their barbecue because their pizza's so good.
Oh,
But that place, Sonny's building, really needs to be a barbecue place because it's what it's always been.
and they just upgraded it, a couple years ago.
Yes. Woody's. Where was Woody's?
Woody's was up by where Publix or Winn-Dixie is.
That was Woody's.
Yeah, right
Before
there.
that, it was Rax.
Yeah, and that was McDonald's
Yes.
took over the parking lot.
Yes.
That's right where Woody's sat.
So it was Rax, and then it became Woody's. And Woody's was barbecue, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
So Woody's was in competition with Sonny's.
Yes. They still have a lot of Woody's in Florida.
Yep. There's one in Lake Wales, I believe. And there's also, is that Fat Boys still open?
I think it's closed
Is
now.
it finally closed?
I think so.
On that stretch, do you remember the Black Forest?
Not right offhand.
It was between Frostproof and Lake Wales. On the right-hand side, it was a German restaurant. Part of the building is still there. I think it's maybe, I don't know, a parking lot for trucks or something, but you can see kind of the German architecture in it, but it was a German restaurant.
Oh, okay.
How about Chalet Suzanne?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was an expensive place.
That was the bougie place.
Yes.
If you really so I don't know about you, but for me growing up in Sebring, if you wanted to really have a special date, you take them to Red Lobster in Winter Haven. And we didn't have one here.
Right.
And that was a big time date. But if you wanted to go next level, it would be Chalet Suzanne.
Yes.
So I went once. Once me and David Tavernier took our dates to Red Lobster in Winter Haven. It was a Valentine's dance. And but I don't know that I ever ate at Chalet Suzanne.
Yeah, that was way back then. It was close to $100 for a couple.
Way back then.
Yeah.
That's right. I was out, I don't know, it was when I was staying in Lake Wales for a while there, and I went looking for it because I was going to go to the mall. I think it's gone. I think that they bulldozed all that, but I'm not positive. But I couldn't find it anymore.
Yeah, it was way up 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was between 17 and 27.
Yep.
And it was right in there, but I couldn't find it.
Just south of Waverly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. Talk to me about some of your Sebring memories or people, places, things. What comes to mind?
Well, and used to do a little bit of drag racing out at the drag strip. Had a black Mustang, raced it, and had a 40 Ford Coupe, raced it.
Also the 80s, right?
90.
90s.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. And played some softball with church leagues.
Yeah. What about the drag racing? How long did you do that? Did you win any prizes or anything?
Well, not very often. I even did some racing when I was in Ohio, and you don't make any money on drag racing. You spend money.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of those guys have they all have their own cars, but
Right.
the real fun, I suppose, is in the garage getting it ready for the race.
Right. Now, one guy out there, he was from Lake Placid. He had a Nova, and he raced, and he said, well, I'm stopping racing. I'm going to go into something a little bit cheaper. He said, I'm going to go into golfing.
Oh,
So I saw him a couple years later, and he said, it's not any cheaper.
no way, man. No, golf is expensive.
So I think he went back to drag racing a little bit.
Yeah. What about downtown area? What are some places you can remember that are not there anymore?
Well, Yogi Bar, one I used
We were talking about that.
Yeah, I used to hang out there once in a while.
Yeah, I mentioned that was my old man's place of choice.
Yeah.
As I recall, my mom had to drag him out of there more than once.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time there.
And right across the street, the Santa Rosa. How sad to see that gone.
Yes, I thought it was a nice place.
Oh, it was incredible. Do you remember the restaurant in there, or is that when you were gone? Oh, the restaurant was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was really upscale, too.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, and then Maylee's Deli down there.
Do you remember what Maylee's was before it was Maylee's?
No.
It was the Sherwin-Williams.
Oh, yeah, the paint store.
That's right.
Yeah.
Before they moved over to Patterson's building.
Now, I heard that the folks that started that sold to They were from New Jersey.
Yep.
Very,
Gilroy's.
very nice people.
Maylee and Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah, super nice. Super nice. Yeah, she's the culinary teacher at Sebring High School now.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, as far as I know, they
where's
sold
he?
it. I'm not sure if he's Phil. I love that guy. He's just a really down to earth guy, and you'd see him all over town on his moped delivering food.
Delivering.
And I'm not sure if he maybe is still doing that or not, but I haven't seen Phil in a while.
Okay.
But yeah, you talk about two fixtures of the town, two really good people.
Yeah,
There
they
you go,
were
right there.
very nice people.
Yeah.
Used to get lunch there quite often.
Oh well, yeah. It's like Dee's place. It's a Sebring staple.
Sure.
What about Nancesui? What do you remember about that?
Just that it had a bar.
And do you remember the name of it?
No.
As the Rendezvous.
Yeah, that's right.
That was one of Sebring's most notorious bars.
Yeah.
You didn't want to be in that place at the wrong time. wrong day, wrong time.
Yeah, that or the watering hole.
Well, what the crews have done to the watering hole is, and to the wild turkey, is just remarkable.
It's amazing. Yeah.
They've turned it from literally a hole in the wall bar that you would not want to get dragged into under any
Friday night.
circumstances to one of the finest dining establishments anywhere around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember when they had the gator out there?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Bully? I can't remember.
And then before that, he had the big snake.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Pellas, I believe.
Yes,
Pella
it
Brothers.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember my mom used to go out dancing, and watering hole was one of the places that she would go. I don't know that they had dancing back then, except for a jukebox maybe, but that would have been fine for her.
Right.
But yeah, I remember stories about, you go in and there would be dogs sitting at the bar and just rough and tumble Old West kind of stuff going on out there. But this is way back. This is back in the 60s, 70s.
Yeah, and they had a place called Clayton's.
Oh, yeah, Clayton's. Yeah, my sister got barred from Clayton's.
It's a wonder I didn't.
Yeah.
But
Clayton's, then I believe it became Allen's, and then it burned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember my place?
Yeah, I forget where it was.
That was down farther south. If you're going south on 27, it was on the left-hand side. Then it became Raintree.
Yes.
But yeah, my place was a disco that Ken Wilkinson and a group of guys started. That was really upscale too for its time.
Yeah.
PJ's. Do you remember PJ's? Paul Jonak's place. It was a steakhouse. It was if you're coming up 27 from Lake Placid, it's the building's there. Right now, I'm not sure what the business is, but it's on the right-hand side past Coffee Bean and past the Sebring Diner. Or is it before the Sebring Diner? Before the Sebring Diner. I've lived here my whole life, but there's a car that's kind of jacked up.
Oh, a
screen
Luneman
room.
place.
Yes, that used to be PJ's
Yes.
Surf and Turf.
Yeah.
They had great music out there. Yeah, tell me about
In a few years.
just like growing up in your hometown, what it was like. Was it very hometownish, small town?
No, we lived in the country, way out. I don't know, probably 10 miles out of town.
Mm-hmm.
And in a big old house, had a lot of land. Always had gardens and had to work in the garden and stuff like that. To catch a school bus, we had to walk almost a mile.
Really, just to
Yeah.
catch the bus?
And in the wintertime, that was fun.
Oh, I can't imagine in the snow.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Was it uphill both ways?
No, just going in the morning, it was uphill. Coming back, it was downhill.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. I wouldn't trade it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it.
This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. What was your first car?
My first car was a 50 Ford convertible.
Really? And what year would it have been that you would have gotten that car?
62, I think.
Okay. That's a fairly new car then. So you
Yeah.
got a 1950 convertible.
Yeah, 50 Ford convertible.
Wow. Color?
Maroon and white top.
Engine?
Flathead Ford.
Were you drag racing back then, Ernest?
No, not that thing.
What about the Mustang that you were racing out at the track?
It had a 460 Ford engine in it.
Yeah. What year was the Mustang?
86
Okay.
Mustang GT. Charlie White did most of the work on it, building the chassis and all that.
None better.
Right.
None better. What a great
Transmission
family
man.
too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very good people.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I like Charlie and Wendy.
Yeah.
Oh, George, he's okay too.
When you think about George White, and you think about those guys, do any other names come to mind from? Because I think of them as kind of like true old Sebring people.
Yeah, there was a guy, Wayne Luke. I don't know if you knew him. Alan, his son Alan's still around.
Mm-hmm.
They were good people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, softball, you were playing out at the YMCA because I don't believe the Highlands County courts would have been done back
No,
then.
it was back before the YMCA.
B5 is Max Long.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still Max Long.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in those fields. I'm sure that I played against you one or more times in church league.
Probably Nazarene Church I played for, and then Nelson Electric, I played for them for a short time.
Boy, I don't know what it was like then. I mean, I do, but it was church league for me. Did they have a commercial league back then?
Yeah, that Nelson Electric, it was in the commercial league.
Holy moly, these guys playing now are cutthroat.
Oh, boy.
In the commercial leagues, they're in tournaments every weekend, and it's serious softball.
Yeah.
I just finished up my senior softball league for the winter league.
I wouldn't make it nowadays.
Now, you would make it in the senior league. You'd be fine. Guaranteed, you'd be fine in the senior league. Yeah, you should think about that. I'm going to tell Gilly I'm going to sit Gilly on you.
Yeah, I don't think.
He's a great recruiter. No, I promise you could do it.
Yeah.
I played on the league. I've seen some of the guys out there, and you could play out there.
Yeah. Throw my arm out of shape.
Maybe you'd put your arm back in shape. You never know.
Yeah.
What about other sports? Did you ever do other sports?
Played a little bit of basketball.
Indiana, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Okay, so
in high school a little bit, and then whenever I was in the Air Force, I played a little bit.
Yeah.
Touch football, but that's about all.
Right. What about other hobbies? Music, movies, anything like that?
Just I like music, but I like to dance once in a while.
Oh yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
No, movies. I was never big into movies.
Mm-hmm. Growing up in your area, would you consider your family a farming family, or were you just in a piece of property that lended itself to gardening and such?
It was just a property that my dad had a full-time job. Like I said, he worked at making tires for McQuarrie Tire and Rubber Company in Indiana. Mm-hmm. They since went out of business, and now it's specialty tires there, and they make racing slicks and stuff.
Oh, that's cool. How long did your parents live?
My dad was 76, and my mother was 72.
That's young.
Yeah, and they died 5 days apart.
Is that
he
right?
died first, and she died. He died on a Monday, and she died on a Friday.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it?
She gave up.
She just gave up.
Yeah.
Was he sick? Was it expected or unexpected?
Yeah, he had been in a nursing home for some time.
Yeah.
He had crippling arthritis. Mm. My mother had cancer and heart problem.
Mm-hmm. So. Wow, 5 days.
Yeah.
Wow. How long were they married?
50-some years.
Fantastic.
Yeah. In fact, I was working at Amtrak, and I took bereavement leave to go home for my dad up in Pennsylvania. And I had to stay because my mother died, too.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That had to be quite a blow for your whole family.
It was. Yeah.
How many grandkids did they end up
Ooh.
with? Is there even a count?
No, there's no count. The one reunion we had, there was over 100 and some of us there.
100 and some.
Yeah. My one brother, he He's a minister, or was a minister, and he keeps the family together. He has like a reunion every year for everybody.
Wow.
But it's getting smaller. People are losing interest.
What a legacy. 100 and something. Well, no, it continues to grow.
Right.
It's remarkable, all of that just from two people.
Yeah.
Did your mom and dad also come from big families?
No, my dad was from a family of, he had 2 brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my mother, I think she had 5 brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Were they all, this is, I don't know how else to put this, but were they already American? Did they come over? Are they families of immigrants?
No, they were already here. My dad and his family, when he was real young, they lived in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
His dad worked on the railroad,
Okay.
putting in the railroad.
A railroad connection.
Right.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. When was the last time you hopped on a train and went somewhere?
Oh, probably 96 or something like that. Close to 20 years.
There's something very nostalgic about railways.
Yeah.
It's almost like you can, just for a short time, you can go back in time.
Yeah.
It's like a time machine almost.
Yeah. Different ones that say that we need to go on a train ride. Like from our place, we got to go about 30 miles to catch a train. We can take it to New York or somewhere. They say we need to do that. Well, we keep talking about it, but never do.
Yep. Yep. I've done the same thing. I've looked at they have these passports. There's a name for it. I can't think of what it is, but for X number of dollars, you can go on X number of stops.
Like a U.S. rail they used to have.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've always thought it would be really fun to hop on here in Sebring and go through the West and see, because there are still areas in the West where you can see how it was.
Right.
There's fewer and fewer areas, but feels like if you're going to take a train ride, it would have to be out West.
Yeah.
This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020.
Yeah. There's only one state I haven't been to, and that's Utah. So we're talking maybe flying out there.
Take the train. So you've been to every state except Utah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite? Of course, other than Florida, Ernest.
Or Pennsylvania. No. That's what I like. I like being able to be up there in the summertime and down here in the wintertime.
Yeah.
I'm a snowbird.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Is there a state though that really stands out to you? Have you gone to one multiple times because you liked it so much?
No, I didn't care for California. Mm-hmm. Didn't care for Arizona that much. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about Utah, but I'd like to go there and see it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. But some of the northwestern states are nice too, Oregon and Washington and that.
Yeah. Took a road trip out to visit my son and his wife, Rodney and Sophia. And I was going to head down to Mexico. Dawn was staying in Mexico, working in an orphanage. Mm-hmm. And I started the drive, and I went down the Pacific Coast Highway. Wow. Just magnificent.
US 1?
Yeah, I think
1A or
one is something like that. Yeah. My word.
Yeah.
You pull over and you stop and there's whales. You see whales just, doing their thing out there. Yeah. I'm just almost imaginary. It was so beautiful.
Did you go all the way down to San Diego?
I was going to go all the way down to Mexico, and they were having forest fires.
Okay.
And I made it just to the tip of the redwoods.
Oh, okay.
And I had to hang a left. And then I ended up going through Nevada, through the deserts.
Right.
And that was breathtaking. You'd think, what is there to see in a desert? Oh, those mountain ranges.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Like some of that Utah stuff.
Yeah.
Rock bridges and all
That's
that
right.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we live in a magnificent country.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
A lot of people down on it, but I love it.
Yeah. Regardless of your politics, you can't deny the beauty of the United States of America.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what? Why don't we all rally around that? There's something. There's something we can agree on.
Yeah.
All this other that nobody can agree on.
Yeah.
There's something we can agree on.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even get into that with people. They'll start. I don't like it.
I don't either. Not one bit.
No. Politics and religion.
There you go. Yep. Yep. So what was your religion growing up?
Oh.
No, I'm with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
I'm sad by how divided we've become.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a solution anymore. I just think that the design is to divide and conquer, and I think the ends are being met, and here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the old people say times are coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Best be ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Ernest, I was not expecting you to be on the podcast today.
I wasn't either.
I just thought you'd come over and we'd chat for a few minutes, and now here you are. And a week from Saturday, you're going to be online for the whole wide world to see.
Oh, no.
Listen, man, this is a small podcast, and I'm a little fish in a little pond, and this podcast is a little fish in a little pond.
Okay.
So all is well, but I do appreciate you. I know this was something. It's not necessarily your most comfortable thing to do.
Right.
So I'm grateful and I appreciate it. I'm also impressed and proud that you would do it.
Okay. Thank you much.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.
We're out.
All right.
Just like that. See, it wasn't hard at all, was it? The Havery Show has been brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020.